don't think we typically aren't a huge NPL buyer, so the associated risks and complications of unwinding and enforcement in Italy don't necessarily impact us that much. We look at all of the markets. I think Greece is a longer stretch for us, just because the economic conditions there are a lot weaker. But we've been pretty active looking at things in Spain and Italy. I think Josh made some pretty good points earlier on about and Adolfo as well, about kind of the fundamentals and the capital markets matching up. I think the capital markets have moved a long way in Spain relative to the fundamentals, and there's some ground to be made up to make sure that everybody's expectations of forward-looking returns match up in Spain. I think Italy is potentially more interesting because there's less capital getting in there, because the NPL opportunity is harder to access. It's a more fragmented market. So to the extent that Spain's been sort of been pre-packed by a bunch of US investment banks, that just hasn't happened in Italy. So there's a lot of people who will start to look at Italy just because the opportunity there is more fragmented, and it's potentially more things that you could do without encountering pre-packed NPLs. I think Josh also made a point about the debt markets. I think to the extent that the seller sees equity, he may actually see equity in a massive line of credit. So you can't borrow non-recourse financing secured against each individual asset better than 450 over. But if you have a large fund and you have a line of credit with a 200 basis point spread on it, you can finance anything you want, frankly. So to the extent that leverage is a barrier, it's a barrier for single asset purchases. It's not a barrier if you're deploying for a whole fund. So I don't think the debt markets are a particular obstruction. I think the NPL structure in Italy, the problems that cause, actually probably a little bit of an opportunity for some people. But Greece is probably at this point for us a little bit of a bridge too far in terms of our access. But we'll keep looking.
It's interesting, Simon. Actually, we sold an asset where the buyer had a subscription line, but interestingly, the subscription line provider didn't want to do Italy.
Well, that just depends on how hard you get the subscription.
So, in theory, you're absolutely correct, but in reality, actually, there are some interesting anomalies. And this is quite a powerful buyer with quite a powerful subscription line.
Yeah, so it just depends on what you get out of the line, really, when you're negotiating the line. It just shows how much care and effort has to go in when you're putting these things together to make sure that the business plan that you think you've got is actually executable in practice.